transit system, connect you to work, school, play, and everywhere else in between. Plan your ride to this weekend's game at catmetro.org. All right, let's go ahead now and meet the players of tonight's contest. Introducing first, a sad Ravens fan, but an RTF brother like myself, Jordan Geelhoed. Jordan, how we feeling, man?
That's right. I'm doing great. Thank you. Yeah. Sad Ravens fan, I know. AFC Championship did not treat us kindly, but we're here now. Looking forward to the draft. Looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to this episode of Crossfire.
Awesome, and welcome back. It's great to have you. Introducing second, one of TSTV's very best, who's at LHN currently, Ceci Rodriguez. Ceci, how we doing?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm excited to be back. It's fun to see everybody again, but excited for tonight. Let's see how I do.
Awesome. Ceci, welcome back to you as well. Introducing third, a CBS Sports anchor and reporter here in Austin, who you may just recognize, Mr. Jeff Parker. Jeff, how we doing?
Doing great. Appreciate you guys having me here. And you guys are big time. We didn't have sponsors back in the day.
This is what we do now.
Metro, let's go.
There we go. It's a new era. It's a new era over here. Well, welcome all three of you. So great to see you guys again and welcome you back. But before we get started, let's go over the rules of the game, just in case you've never tuned in before, or it's been a little bit for you guys. So you got to listen up here. There will be 3 rounds, with each round containing 3 questions. And points will be given to who I believe has the best answer in order of 3 points, 2 points, and 1 point. Whoever has the most points at the end of the third round wins. And usually we get to come back. Sadly, not this week. But that's okay. That's okay. We can't forget that the third and final round, though, or the rapid fire round, is worth double the points. That meaning the best answer will receive 6 points, and so on. New to the game, in case there is a tied score at the end, which has happened before, I do have a very quick bonus question to see who is crowned champion. Also, in this rapid fire round, these contestants have not been able to see or prepare for these questions whatsoever, meaning they will have to improvise, overcome, and just hopefully not get caught in the crossfire. Now that the game is explained, let's get to firing. The NCAA tournaments for both the men's and the women's has come to a close, and while both games were fun to watch, neither exactly came down to the wire. Picking either UConn or South Carolina to talk about, explain why they were so dominant in their victory this past weekend. Jordan, we're going to start with you, man.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of cop out and steal both answers. I'm going to answer for both UConn and South Carolina because I think it's the same for both. I think it boils down to coaching with both Don Staley and Danny Hurley. I think that both of those teams have great players, great recruits, but there's no, outstanding like Caitlin Clark or Zach Edey or whatever. But the coaching just turned both of those squads into well-oiled machines that just powered through whoever they faced. And I think that with Staley, her pedigree is already solidified, and Hurley is getting up there too. He's like one of the only active coaches with multiple titles now. I think that they're putting in a good culture, getting good recruits, and I think that that's the reason both those squads won.
Yeah, absolutely. Both coaches, Staley and Hurley. Hurley obviously going back-to-back now at UConn. Don Staley having a perfect season, which for them hasn't been done. UConn women's has done it a lot, but coaching absolutely major factor for those two teams. Ceci, let's hear it.
I'm going to have to stick with South Carolina, and I think the simplest answer is just the depth in that roster. That roster was incredible, and you saw it. It's hard to survive an entire season undefeated, and they did that, and Dawn Staley is a huge part of that. And I think, with all these GOAT conversations in women's basketball right now, she definitely needs to be in that conversation. But I think when it comes down to South Carolina, they were averaging at least 33 points each game, and that entire starter and reserves list was just outscoring opponents consistently. So I think South Carolina definitely was going to dominate, and they're the team to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Caitlin Clark obviously on Iowa, but kind of a one-man show for some of the game there. Like you said, that depth really came into play. Bench points was unbelievable, 37 compared to 0. Something crazy. So absolutely the depth played a major role there. And Jeff, round us off.
I think that these are both 2 great answers right here. This is the bummer about going third on this one. But the depth, that's a great point too, and then also the coaching there. I'll take it one step further. It's kind of cliche, but everything with both those teams was about the team. It wasn't about just one single player.
Right.
With Purdue, that's what it came down to in that game, is they said, let Zach Edey have all he wants. let him score, I think Dan Hurley said, let him score 40 points on 30 shots, which is pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
And then on UConn, any given night, it could have been any of their top 7 or 8 players. Same with South Carolina on the women's side. So kind of old school basketball in that sense, just coming down to really good coaching and then it just not about one player and being able to stop, pick on one player like you could with Purdue, and then Iowa with Caitlin Clark on the women's side of things.
Absolutely. It's a great way to round it off. I mean, just team play all around. Not selfish basketball. Everybody touching the rock. That's how it went, and that's how they won. So absolutely great answer. To round off the first question, signing points. Making my job hard here easy. Giving the 3 to Ceci, I think South Carolina's depth, especially with that bench points graphic, that's just absurd. 37-0. You never see that. The depth really came into play there. With the 2, tough one between you two. I'm going to give it to Jordan just barely with the coaching to start us off there. With the 1, Jeff, I'm giving it to you. But you're coming up first here soon, so we'll get that rolling. All right. Heading over to question 2. But sticking here with March Madness, but looking at it through a different lens, what was your favorite moment from this tournament this year, men's or women's, and what made it your favorite? Ceci, we're starting with you.
I'm going to continue sticking with the women's. I think it's great, to see the recognition this season and to see how many people tuned in. I think that was incredible. But I think my favorite moment had to be the Iowa-LSU game. I think that was just a fun one to watch. It was really close, and I think the storylines behind that game, just, Caitlin Clark getting her revenge from last year's national championship and getting that W because it was heartbreaking last year, and then she didn't get to win it this year, so at least getting that win over Angel Reese and Kim Mulkey, and it was even funny seeing Kim Mulkey, go crazy on the sidelines. But that was just a fun game to watch, and I had so much fun watching that women's tournament towards the end and throughout the entire thing, but towards the end. So I'm going to have to say that was my favorite moment.
Yeah, great answer to start us off. I was LSU. I didn't get to catch most of it, but Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, the revenge, Kim Mulkey, like you said, it had every component you want in a great game and more. So and in the tournament, so it was great. All right, Jeff, let's hear it.
I'm going to go to the first round of the men's tournament, the first 2 days, because those are some of the best days from the sports calendar. Used to fake sick when I was a kid, so Thursday and Friday I could just sit around and watch 16 games each day.
I do the same.
And then obviously the upsets that you get. We got the 14-3. I'll go with Coach Cal, who's now at Arkansas.
Yeah.
What this game, the ramifications of this game and what it meant for college basketball after that.
That one's a good one.
Oakland and Jack Golke, the soon-to-be, if not already, insurance broker, mortgage lender, whatever that guy's going to be doing that's not playing in the NBA. Seeing a guy like that just jack up threes, and then a team like Oakland where had to Google where that was. It's in Michigan.
I thought it was
in Michigan?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know.
After.
Yep. So I'm gonna go with that because those are some of my favorite days of the year on the sports calendar, and then for them to take down Coach Cal and basically just end that entire 15-year, 10-year of success for Coach Cal is pretty crazy when you think about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Another great answer. I mean, Jack Golke, star overnight in the making. I looked at his Twitter the next day. He already had TurboTax in the bio. I'm like, what
he was doing the commercials from his hotel.
Yes, he was. It was an internet sensation blowing up overnight. It seemed like we have one every year. That was Golke. That was Oakland. Great answer from you, Jeff. I like that one a lot. Jordan, round us off.
Man, I was going to say Golke, too. That's what NIL's all about right there. No, I'm going to say, and it's weird to say, but, the discourse around the women's tournament this year was oddly, refreshing to see. Mm-hmm. I saw a question, I think it was on First Take or one of those shows, where it was if Caitlin Clark leaves college without a ring, what does that do for her legacy? And obviously that's a ridiculous question to ask, but, that's the questions they ask about the men.
Yeah.
And so it's, interesting to see how the women's game is being taken more seriously, as seriously as the men's game, and you saw the viewership numbers, of course, surpassing the men's tournament. I think that was super cool to see, and really what I'll take away most from this tournament, more than any specific game or moment, was the evolution of the women's tournament, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great overarching answer. I mean, the women's national championship game had more viewers than the men's by between 4 or 5 million, I believe, something like that. It's great to see. I mean, the game extremely exploded with Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, women like that. It's great to see. So that's a really great answer to round us off.
And I like the first couple games because I didn't have to do any shows on CBS.
I didn't see you at work today. Just saying.
Great answers from our alumni here with the 3. Jeff, I'm giving it to you, man. It's
that was a great one.
Game. Just internet sensation. Great. Awesome, Jack Golke. With 2, Jordan, I'm giving it to you over here. Overarching answer of the women's tournament. Love that. And Ceci with the 1. That game was phenomenal. Other 2 just beat you out just barely, though. But, all right. moving to the final question of this round and switching over to softball, the Lady Longhorns shut down OU's 40-game Big 12 win streak and even won the series by taking 2 of the 3 games. What was the key for the Longhorns' success this past weekend, and do you believe they can hold the #1 national rank moving forward? Jeff, I want to start with you on the end.
I do, because when you get over that hump, get past that giant like they just did in Oklahoma, first series win versus Oklahoma for the Longhorns since 2009.
Wow.
I was even in high school when that happened. That's how long ago that was. So yeah, it's been a minute. So I think the mental hurdle and just the psychology of the way they did it too, losing the first game and then coming back, winning those next 2 games, falling behind 1-0 in each of those games, just knowing that when that adversity hits again, whether it's against OU or against another really good team, I think that can do leaps and bounds for a team moving forward, of just being able to say, like, we can do this when we get in this spot. Like, why would we doubt ourselves? We just took down the giant in Oklahoma.
Absolutely, yeah. You get over the hurdle, and then later on, if you need it, you rely on that experience, just like you mentioned, because you have beat them before. So absolutely, they seem very confident. I agree with you. I agree with you. All right, Jordan, we're going to you.
Yeah, I think that they definitely can. I think they have the talent to, and when against Oklahoma, the pitching and the defense getting runners off the bases, that was super huge. I don't necessarily think that this is going to happen to them, but it can happen where you get over that hurdle of the #1 team like Oklahoma, and then you kind of like sit back. You're like, okay, we beat the big bad guy. Let's just rest on our laurels here. But they can't do that. They got Baylor this weekend. Who's going to be a tough opponent. They lost last year. And so I don't necessarily think that they will do that, but they got to kind of keep their foot on the gas pedal. Don't get complacent here just because you had a great win.
Yeah, absolutely. Foot on the pedal, like you said. Can't get complacent. Yes, you defeated the giant, the beast. Got to keep the foot on the pedal, like you said. I like that a lot. Ceci, we're going to you.
I think the key to winning this last series was definitely the defense, but most importantly was the pitching. The bullpen was incredible. You had Sitlali, who did great. You had Estelchek, who did amazing. I think those were 2 of their best games in their career, in probably their career at Texas. And I think the defense really showed up. You saw the freshman, Caden Henry, who had amazing catches in the outfield, and she showed up in moments that they needed her to. And I think they were the best key, and going forward, that bullpen is going to need to be the key to, really winning those important games going forward, and they need to get their bats hot again. At the beginning of the season, you saw Reese Atwood, who was, getting a home run in at least every game, and her bat was hot. And it's kind of quieted down recently, so if they get that offense up there again, if they get those bats hot, I think they definitely have a chance to keeping that #1 spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Pitching, defense was huge. Atwood, I believe, still has 12 homers, leads the team to 12 homers. So the bat has faded a little bit, but, 12 homers kind of speaks for itself. So should we get back up going again? Really like the answer to round off the first round. With the 3, Ceci, it's going to you. Really like the explanation there. Throwing in some players with the 2. Jeff, I'm going to give it to you on the end. Getting over that hurdle, having that confidence. Great stat from 2009. With the 1, Jordan, like the foot on the pedal. Other 2, just a little bit better, though. All right. That'll wrap things up for tonight's first round. Don't go anywhere. College Crossfire. We'll be right back. Welcome back into College Crossfire. Quick scoring update for everybody watching. Ceci leads the way with 7, Jeff right behind her with 6, and Jordan right behind him with 5. Still anybody's game to take, obviously. Let's now get back into some different sports questions. Texas baseball has been struggling a bit this season as they are 19-13 overall and just dropped their series finale to BYU. What does this team need to do in order to start piecing together some more consistent wins, and how many games do you think they win against U of H this weekend? Jeff, we're starting with you on the end.
I can't figure this team out. I can't. It's a total roller coaster. 7-1 start, and then the competition picks up, and you lose 4 straight.
Boom.
And then you come back and play a little bit better after that. Start Big 12 play, and take 2 of 3 from Tech. They've won 3 of their 4 conference series and taken 2 of 3 in those series. So they still need a sweep, which I think would be huge if they could pull that off this weekend. But I'm going to say to become more consistent pitching, they need LeBaron Johnson Jr. to pitch like an ace. I mean, we know it's in there. We saw it from the guy last year. Just a matter of figuring out whatever's going on with him and finding a way to be more consistent in his starts. I think 1 inning or 4 innings his last 2 starts combined. I can't remember what one was 3, one was only a single inning. So that's not going to get it done there. They've had some nice revelations with Ace Whitehead and then Grubbs there in those number 2 and 3 starter roles. But going to need more from your ace right there. And I think that'll at least even things out and hopefully start things on a better note for series moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't really figure the team out. Well, Barron deciding not to go into the MLB draft. Lots of Longhorn fans were excited. Hasn't really performed as well this year, to put it in a very nice way. So consistency for sure moving forward needs to happen. All right, Ceci, let's go with you.
I kind of have a similar answer. I mean, this team has just been a roller coaster. This bullpen just can't get it together, and we've said that the past few years. I've had my doubts about the bullpen for the past few years, and they just can't get it together. At least last year, Lucas Gordon was kind of helping them be their ace, but they haven't found that ace, and LeBaron's doing his best. But when you can only go in 1 inning and then give up so many runs, and then Max has to come, then Gage has to come, and you go through like 12 pitchers in 1 game, it's insane.
Yeah.
And I think that has been their biggest weakness. And if this team wants to make it far and make a run to Omaha, they need to stop blowing leads and they need to stop giving up so many runs. Their defense has just been, it's just been hit or miss, honestly. And I think their bats are hot. They've had multiple games where they can win with over 20 runs, and they beat Tech 22 to 7.
Yeah.
But then they lose the next day. And so they need to really get more consistent when it comes to their bats, when it comes to their defense, when it comes to their pitching, and that's the key to making it far.
Yeah, consistency for sure, kind of like Jeff said, but also, I mean, the bullpen to stop blowing leads sounds like my Astros over here. I mean, it's exactly what's happening. I mean, their identity doesn't seem to quite be there yet.
No.
So it seems to be missing. Well, I like that answer a lot from you. Jordan, let's hear it.
My answer is going to be pretty similar.
I mean, it's a great answer.
Fantastic. Yeah, I was going to say pitching consistency, bullpen strength. I was going to mention that the bats have been strong. I got nothing else to say. As far as this series against U of H, I'm going to go 2 games. I'm going to say I think that BYU is kind of a wake-up call, and I don't necessarily think they're going to sweep, even though it would be nice. I'm going to go with 2 games.
Okay, fair enough. 2 games taken against U of H there. Consistency at the bats. Tough end of the stick there with that.
I know, it's tough going third.
That's how the game works. Get a maximum opportunity. All right, great answers all around per usual. With the 3, Jeff, I'm giving it to you on the end. With the 2, Ceci, I'm giving it to you. And with the 1, Jordan, kind of going phone there. Great answer all around, though. It was great. But all right, moving over to our second question and to the MLB, there have been a few major pitchers get injured early in the season, which some are attesting to the pitch clock. What are your thoughts on this and the pitch clock as a whole in the MLB currently? Ceci, we're starting with you.
I'm going to start with I can understand how some of these older pitchers are feeling and the frustration they're feeling, and it's definitely hard, especially when you go down at the end of spring training and, opening day, and it's been very difficult for some teams. I know you were talking about the Astros earlier, and how half of your pitching staff is injured right now, so it's very hard, and I can understand the frustration when it comes to that and why they would blame the pitch clock. However, personally, I cannot be completely opposed to the pitch clock. I know it's kind of a hot take when it comes to, the game of baseball. baseball, and I love the game of baseball. I've loved it for years, and I think the tradition, the history, it's amazing. But when it comes to the pitch clock, I think it's done so much to speeding up this game and making it better for the modern-day baseball watchers. And it's really helped, you know, not give the momentum to the pitchers completely. I mean, when you can take as long as you want between pitches, that kind of turns momentum back and forth, and I think that was a big problem. And you're seeing the game where people are more like willing to tune into a game because it's not going to be a 5-hour game that takes forever. It's one of the singular sports that like doesn't have a timed anything. I think it's definitely helped with that, and I think it's a step in the right direction.
Very fair. I'm not going to give my opinion on what I believe pitch clock or not pitch clock until after this answer to keep things, you know, fair. But I think that's a very fair explanation. I think you can attest some to it, but how much can you really attest to the pitch clock? Is it speeding up the game? Yes, it is. So really like the answer to start off this second question. And Jordan, we're going to you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for the pitchers who are, you know, like going through these injuries. Like, it's a grind, of course, but do not get rid of the pitch clock. Please don't, because exactly as Ceci said, it's speeding up the game. It's allowing more people to tune in, because your average fan's not going to watch a 4-hour baseball game. They will watch a 2.5-hour baseball game, though. And I think that the pitch clock has got a lot to do with that. And I think the pitch clock for, you know, a lot of like baseball purists is used kind of like the boogeyman a lot, and you know, like they don't like change, of course, and so they're just blaming everything that's, you know, going wrong on the pitch clock. But I don't think that they should get rid of it at all. Baseball is finally getting back to that point where, you know, it's being viewed as like cool again in the public eye for being just, you know, an old guy sport for the longest time. And I think if you take the pitch clock away, you're taking all that progress away. So we got to keep it in there.
All right, very fair. I like that explanation. That little boogeyman in there. Somewhere, and it's
strong comeback.
That was a strong comeback there, yeah.
Very fair. Very great explanation for you, Jordan. Jeff, we're going to you to round us off.
Yeah, pitch clock's great. I mean, at the end of the day, people want to see more action and less of the silly old gamesmanship of throwing over to first base a million times and circling the mound and slow play, messing with the rosin bag and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They want to see more action, and this speeds the game up and gets us to action quicker.
Yeah.
So yeah, two great answers right there. I don't really have a ton to add other than I really enjoy the pitch clock. It's made games a lot faster, and I think that's great.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, my personal opinion, I absolutely love the pitch clock, just like what you guys were saying. Made the game a lot
Keep
faster.
it moving.
It's more enjoyable, especially when you go. Obviously, you can watch the game, change channels, whatever. When you're at the game, obviously you're there. So it feels a lot faster. The game is consistently moving.
Yep.
You don't, like you said, you don't got guys throwing over to first base all the time, taking 40 seconds. It's just great. It's great, and I don't personally believe these injuries are attested directly to the pitch clock.
Yeah, no.
Just, I don't know. Yeah.
And how you guys, I think we all said this. How could that be a direct correlation?
Right.
That's
Like, what
crazy.
data do we have?
What data is there to prove?
Yeah, you really can't.
I've been playing fantasy baseball for too long, and there's pitchers that go on the IL all the time.
All the time.
Even
All
before the pitch
time.
clock.
Yeah, it's just how it works. It's just how baseball goes. I mean, you're throwing 100 miles an hour 100 times.
100 times a game,
It's just how it goes. It's how it goes. So, all right, Jordan, you're getting the 3 down here. Love to do a boogeyman quote over here. With 2, Ceci in the middle, and Jeff with the 1. Great answers all around from you guys as we go into our final question of this round. Passing it over to the NBA, there are several teams we know, or at least highly assume, that will make the NBA playoffs or even the play-in games. Of all of these teams, which one do you believe is the most vulnerable, and why? Jordan, we're starting with you.
Yeah, if you'll allow me to, I was going to start with a pun. I was going to say the star is fading for the Phoenix Suns right now, because it's a star.
I don't get it.
Phoenix Suns are about to blow up. They're about to go supernova right now. Am I right? No. Okay. So Phoenix, I'm pretty sure, are 7
You gotta
in the
get
West.
back.
So they're kind of in that play-in bubble, and they could very well fall to 10 by the time the play-in actually starts, because they had a bad loss against the Clippers last night. There was a point in the first quarter where they were down to 35-4. Now, I mean, they did come back and make it more of a respectable score, but that's still not good. And then I think they play LA again, they play Sacramento, and they play the Timberwolves. And the Kings are also fighting for a play-in spot. Timberwolves are one of the best teams in the West. They could very well lose all those games depending on where the Lakers and the Warriors end up.
Yep.
They could end up at 10, and that downward momentum could just take them right out of the playoffs. So I think it's wild to say for, you know, a team with as much talent as the Suns have, but I just don't see them carrying any momentum into the playoffs, and I think that's why they're the most vulnerable.
Yeah, I think it's a really strong answer to start us off. The Suns kind of being a letdown. I mean, you see Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant all on a roster. You're like, how could this team not be at least top 3 in their conference? And they're not even close to it. They've really kind of let down some expectations, and I think it's a very strong answer with 3-4 games to go and it being a tough schedule. So
Turn into a black hole. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Tell David to get on his mic. All right, Jeff, we're going down to you.
I'm going to go to the East and say the Bucks.
Ooh.
A lot of excuse making going on there all year. Firing coach mid-year, bringing in Doc Rivers, acting like his resume is going to solve all their problems. His postseason resume. What tells me that all of a sudden he's going to be able to just flip the switch, light the fire under these guys, and get Giannis and Dame to figure it out. I think that's one where if this does end up coming to fruition and they do end up being the team that disappoints, or at least one of the higher seeds. Yep. I still think there's a chance next year for them to find their footing, get on the same page. But don't tell me that Doc Rivers is going to come in and solve all your problems.
Yeah. No, very fair. I think Bucks is a great answer. I'm not a Doc Rivers fan myself. Didn't understand. There's a lot of turmoil going on. I mean,
very questionable.
Yeah. They're kind of trying to find their identity. I feel like a little bit too with Doc Rivers, and Giannis got hurt literally last night, calf strain or whatever it was. There's a lot going on in Milwaukee. So I like that answer a lot as well. Ceci, round us off.
That's going to be hard to follow up those two great answers. But I'm going to go with, stay in the East, I'm going to go with the 76ers. I think with Joel Embiid getting injured, this week and kind of seeing where that is, I don't think 76ers really have a team. That is their weakness without him. So I'm going to go them.
All right, fair enough. Very fair. 76ers. Great answers from you guys. This is what I was kind of expecting. We got Suns, Bucks, and 76ers. All teams that I could definitely see myself being vulnerable, maybe getting bounced early. Like those a lot. For this final question of the second round, with the 3, Jordan, you're getting in again. I think the Suns, great explanation. Didn't like the pun.
We love the pun.
Negative points for the puns.
Because of the pun. With the 2, Jeff, I'm going to give you 2 down there with the Bucks. Great explanation there. The 1, Ceci. 76ers, Embiid out. We still got some pieces, though, as well, so we'll have to see. All right, that'll wrap things up for the second round of tonight's contest. Stay with us. Rapid Fire is coming up next. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back into College Crossfire. All right, rapid fire time, ladies and gentlemen. We have a tight game right now with everybody's tied at 12. So, into the final round, but it's still anyone's contest to take as we enter into the last round of tonight's show. That's worth double the points. My advice to the contestants: don't get caught in that crossfire. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into the first question. Now former Iowa guard Caitlin Clark is expected to be drafted first overall to the Indiana Fever, and some WNBA teams are already planning for it. The Las Vegas Aces announced earlier this week that for their game against the Fever this year in July, they will be playing in the T-Mobile Arena, home of the Vegas Golden Knights, instead of their usual Michelob Ultra Arena. This move will allow greater than 18,000 total seats to be available for purchase. Could you see this happening more in the future? And is it smart for the Aces to do this, given that they're supposed to be the home team? Anybody can go, anybody can answer.
I think this is great. I mean, I think it's kind of continuing that women's basketball talk, seeing where they've gone from there. And I think you could see a lot more of this in the future, especially with players like Caitlin Clark coming out of college and doing that. So I think it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a great move to build hype for the game and then for the team in general too, because people in Vegas, they're just there to have a fun time or whatever, and then they see, oh, Caitlin Clark is, here for a game or something. Let's go check it out, and then they get hooked. They start becoming fans, and so I think that making a move to a bigger arena generates some headlines, and it makes people interested, and I think that it's a good move.
Absolutely. Okay.
Let's be honest. This is great for the money. This is great for the bank account.
There we go.
That's true.
You can fill all those seats with maybe if they wouldn't do that every other night. So I think it's a great idea. It builds interest in the game. The Aces get a glorified double or triple home game. So why not? I think everybody wins here.
Fair enough. I kind of expected that. I was looking for maybe one repercussion somehow, some way, but I kind of expected that answer. But I had to ask it because I thought it was so interesting. But all right, I put the points down. I'm not going to tell you who got what points because we'll find out at the end who won. So I'll do the addition after that. But okay, moving on to the second question. UConn's men's basketball coach Dan Hurley back in 2020 said, "Quote: People better get us now. That's all. You better get us now because it's coming." He now has won back-to-back championships. This quote got me thinking, what's your favorite sports quote or quote from an athlete of all time, and why do you like it so much? Anybody can go.
Playoffs? Talking about playoffs?
Playoffs? We're talking about
we can win
playoffs.
a game.
That's an awesome one.
That's an all-time quote. I still quote that on the regular a lot of times, even though I wasn't even alive when it happened. Great Jim Mora. Yeah, I would go with that
It
one.
was Colt. Who was that? Who said that?
I believe it was the Colts.
It was the Colts, right? Okay, yeah.
I'll go Denny Green. I'll stay in the NFL. They are who we thought they were. Let me let them off the hook.
Love that.
Similar one.
There we go. Similar but good. Okay.
Yeah. See, I'm going blank here.
These were fast answers. I was expecting.
Yeah, those are really fast.
Yeah,
now I'm
those
looking
are
really dumb.
I mean,
The only thing coming to mind is going to sound really stupid, but the only thing coming to mind is "You're Killing Me" Smalls from Sandlot.
classic.
That's how bad.
Okay, sports movie.
So I'm like, I guess that kind of goes, but yeah, I quote that on the daily. I'm like, "You're killing me, Smalls." So that's the only thing coming to my mind.
Okay, fair enough. I like that actually. You kill me, Smalls is the classic. I use that all the time. A great quote from you guys. Great quote from you guys. All right, these are fast questions. I thought this would be taking a little longer, but I guess not. All right, moving to the
fire.
Yeah, it is
It's rapid fire. That's
Moving to the
true.
final
That's
question.
true.
All right, last question of our alumni show. I have to ask it. In your time here at UT with TSTV Sports, what was your favorite show to work on or participate in, and why?
Trap question?
Not a trap question. I knew somebody was going to say that. Give me your favorite show to work on, favorite moment. Give me something I want to hear.
I'm going to go with Crossfire because I loved coming every Wednesday. And this is not any way to brag. I loved it. I loved coming here. Everything, the vibes were amazing. But favorite moment, like you said, it had to be the senior show. I think we had a lot of fun. We didn't have working mics. It was all over the place, but we made it work, and we had a lot of fun.
All right, fair enough. Senior show?
Man, I mean, as a former Crossfire EP, I can't not say Crossfire. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with Crossfire as well. Favorite moment from a show? I would say senior show as well, but one that really sticks out in my mind, it was my freshman year before I think any of y'all were here. I mean, you were obviously not here because you were.
I wasn't here on the other end.
Yeah, I think it was like March 11th, 2020, which is the day that everything locked down because of COVID. I found out because I was going to be on the show, and we were like doing our spring break episode.
Yeah.
And so I was like wearing sunglasses, a bucket hat, and some bathing
God.
suit and whatever. We were watching then President Donald Trump give like a State of the Union address, being like, the country's shutting down, don't move anywhere, like we're going home. And I found that out in this studio an hour before showtime.
Do you get PTSD at all walking in here? Probably a little bit. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was a very memorable moment. I don't know a favorite. But
All right. Fair enough.
Do you guys still do the 24/7 week?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That was
Yes,
fun.
we do. Yes,
Okay.
we do.
Love that.
I'm gonna say that the 24/7 week. I mean, I Crossfire, yes. Like, I mean, I did 2 years as the host, but like, I can't say the same exact thing.
I
So.
think you were a 2-year host.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was. Nobody else wanted it. So.
What? Oh, wow. I didn't know you were 2 years.
But
That's awesome.
I'm gonna say 24/7 because we talked about some of the most random things on there, and one time we did the graveyard shift. I honestly don't even remember what we talked about, but we had a phone, and it was like on that thing, and somebody actually called the phone. I still to this day think it was just like somebody in the war room that was just like prank calling us or whatever, but they basically just like called and just like trashed us, and they're just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And we're like, we don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't even know what this is right now.
What's
It's
even going on?
2 in the morning. We're
Yeah.
delirious.
I remember last year, 24/7, we played Settlers of Catan until like 4 in the morning.
Yeah. 24/7.
It took hours, and I still couldn't understand the game.
Oh, that's a great game.
That's a great game.
But we had a lot of fun.
That's great. Those are some great answers all around. Love those guys. Adding up the points, there is a winner, and there is no bonus question. Quick drum roll, please. The winner of tonight's Alumni Show is Jordan Gale. Win tonight. Congrats, Jordan. Do we have time for FaceTime? He's in a little blind. Do we have time for FaceTime? Yeah, we got time, Jordan? Anything to say?
I would like to thank everybody here. Y'all are doing great work. I mean, like, I graduated like 9 months ago, so it's not like I can't be coming around like some old timer and being like, y'all still got it or whatever. Cause I
Like
feel
me?
Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't say old. Wait. But yeah, no, it's awesome being back here. TSTV's great. Hope everybody is having fun. Thank you for everybody for having me, and yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome, Jordan. Well, congrats to you. Thank you guys, all three of you, really, for coming back. It's been an absolute pleasure of mine. So much fun. And that will wrap things up for us here tonight at TSTV. Thank you to everyone who makes the show possible, from the contestants, in-studio personnel, people in master control, and to you, the audience especially. I'm your host, Swantkowski, and we will see you guys next week.